Guys, wala naman po question so far.
None po, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So let's proceed now. Greg, kindly, next slide, please. Click on the next slide po. Greg, hello.
Ang naka-next na po sa akin.
Oo, bakit wala kaming nakikita? Nakikita nyo ba? Baka yung whole screen, Greg, ang iano mo. Yan. Okay. So, yeah, consistency and technique. Okay, do not inject one type of insulin to the bottle. Okay, okay na yan. So, ayan. So, injecting cloudy insulin into a vial of clear insulin contaminates the entire vial. Okay po. Of clear insulin and alters its action. So, that's why, and pwedeng maging inactive na yung regular insulin. That's why iniuna muna natin na we need to withdraw first. Clear. Okay, followed by cloudy insulin. Okay? So, next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so if meron kayong makita na pen device na nakalagay na 70-30, it's actually a combination of regular and intermediate insulin. Okay, so Novolene 70-30. Okay, so by the way, if you are using pen device po, di ba, you will store the pen device sa fridge. Kung meron pong needle na nakalagay, okay, you need to put the pen device upside down. Nakaganito po, okay? Hindi siya nakaganyan. Kasi yung needle natin, yung Novofine needle na tinatawag natin, baka maklog siya. Alright? So if you will put the pen device, you need to put it upside down, like this, sa fridge. Okay po? Next slide, please. Okay, these are the sites of injection. Okay, saan yung mga sites of injection? Abdomen. Okay, we can inject insulin sa abdomen, thigh, okay, hips or buttocks, and then posterior surface of the upper arm. Okay po. So these are the sites na merong mga subcutaneous fat. Okay, because we give the medication subcutaneously, right? Okay, again, what's the only type of insulin that can be given through IV nga? Ano nga yung type of insulin that can be given through IV?
Short-acting po.
Okay, your short-acting or your regular insulin. Okay po. So, ito yung mga site of injection. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so you need to encourage to use all available injection sites within one area rather than randomly rotating sites from area to area. Meaning, for example, today, you will use the abdomen as the site of injection. Pwede po yun. Ngayong araw, abdomen lang. But you need to measure at least 0.5 to 1 inch away from the previous injection. So, hindi po siya pwedeng same site, same exact site ang paglalagyan nyo or pag-injectan nyo ng insulin. So, you need to measure at least 0.5 to 1 inch away from the previous injection. Kasi, pwede nga, if you will repeatedly use the same exact site of injection, pwede magkaroon ng lipohypertrophy. Apo, so kung ngayong araw, abdomen lang, that's perfectly fine, but you need to measure 0.5 to 1 inch away. Apo, another approach to rotation is always use the same area at the same time of the day. Okay po? So inject morning doses into abdomen, evening doses naman sa arms and legs, but you need to ask your patient. Okay po kung saan niya gustong injectan ng insulin. Okay? Especially kasi alam naman na nila. Okay, usually pag sa bahay, sila na lang nag-administer ng insulin sa sarili nila. Okay? Do not use the same exact site more than once in 2 to 3 weeks. So kailangan siyang irritate. Insulin should not be injected into the limb that will be exercised. So as much as possible, dun sa mga limb na hindi masyadong ginagamit. Okay po. So next slide, please. Okay, so these are the procedure. Okay, Greg, pwede mo po bang i-open yung sinend ko sa inyo na checklist? Yung pen device, ay yung violin syringe. Thank you. Okay, so during your so I will be demonstrating muna, and then during your return demonstration next week, two students will demonstrate simultaneously. Okay po, but you will just need to take turns. So I will be asking questions in between. Po, I will be magti-take turns kayo sa procedure. So for example, procedure number 1, yung isang student, and then yung second naman, the other student, then the next one, and then I will ask questions in between. Apo. Okay, for example, so pakibaba please doon sa Greg, sa procedure mismo. Ay, Ma'am Sol. Okay, first is, prior to performing the procedure, it's very important to introduce yourself. So during the written demonstration, of course, you need to introduce yourself and then identify the patient using two identifiers. And what are those? Name and birthday. If your patient is unconscious, hindi man siya nakakapagsalita, check the wristband or wrist tag because may nakalagay dyan na complete name and birth date ng patient mo. Opo, and then you need to explain the purpose. Okay po, para saan yung procedure na to? Bakit to gagawin? Or bakit mo ipo-perform yung procedure na yun sa patient mo? Okay po. Next one is you need to perform hand hygiene. That's SOP already. Okay po. To prevent cross-contamination, perform hand hygiene and observe other appropriate infection prevention procedures. And then provide client privacy. Okay, especially pag nag-duty kayo sa BMC ward, wala dyan mga partition. Okay po, so you need to provide clients privacy. If you need to use drape, use drape. Okay po. Next, prepare the equipment. So, what are the equipments needed? You only need to use clean gloves. Hindi man necessary na magagamit kayo ng sterile gloves. Okay? Minsan nga sa hospital, ang mga nurses, they don't use gloves anymore. Okay? Clean gloves will do. And then, insulin bottle, syringe. This is insulin bottle, for example. Insulin syringe, cotton balls with alcohol or alcohol wipes, sharps container. Guys, the ideal is dapat ang room ng pasyente meron ng sharps container. Okay? Or mga punctured resistant container. However, dito sa atin, seldom lang ang mga rooms na merong punctured resistant container. So, 'di ba hindi na tayo nag-recap. Okay? That's the ideal. Kasi pag kagaling sa pasyente, you will discard the syringe. Okay, sa sharps container. But sa atin, usually nagre-recap muna tayo kasi yung sharps container nandoon sa medication area. Hindi naman pwede na dala-dala nyo yung syringe na tawag dyan, na walang takip. Okay? So baka makaprick pa kayo. Okay? And then, it's very important to verify the doctor's order. Ano yung mga kailangan i-verify? Verify the order ng doctor kung ilan yung dose, ilan yung the dose, okay, kung may naka-indicate na time, and then what type of insulin are you gonna give, and then what else? Anong route of administration? Kasi baka nag-order yung doctor ng IV, okay, sa short acting. Okay, and then check the expiration date. Check also the vial and the insulin, specifically kung may presence of flocculation. Kung may mga particles na, may frosted whitish coating inside the insulin bottle, kung lumpy na siya, kung may mga residue na, okay po, you need to check. Alright? So kung gano'n, kung meron na kayong makita na hindi ka nais-nais doon sa vial, and then discard it immediately. Hindi nyo na yun pwedeng ibigay. Okay? So clear insulin should be clear. Cloudy insulin should be cloudy. Okay po? And then, you need to put gloves on. Okay, you need to put gloves on, clean gloves. And then after that, your vial, okay po, itong vial na to, meron siyang plastic cover. Okay? Okay, so for example, may plastic cover, you just need to remove the plastic cover and then wipe the top of the vial with cotton balls, with alcohol. And then set it aside. Okay? Let it dry. Do not blow it. Apo, kasi baka mas mako-contaminate pa yung top of the vial. So paka-wipe mo, just let it dry. Ilagay mo sa flat surface and then get your insulin bottle, insulin syringe. Okay, for example, the doctor ordered 20 units of regular insulin. Okay po, so yan, 20 units yan. Okay, 20 units. And then, you will inject the air sa vial ng insulin, ng regular insulin. Okay, say, nasa flat surface ako ha, para makita nyo lang. You will inject the air and then turn the vial upside down and then aspirate 20 units. Okay, say, of regular insulin. And then, pag makakita po kayo ng mga bubbles, using your one hand, ganito, hawakan nyo ng ganito, and then just flick the syringe until such time na yung mga bubbles bumalik doon sa vial. Okay po? And after that, tatanggalin nyo lang siya and then you will assist the patient kung anong site of injection. Opo. So for example, this is the posterior surface of the upper arm. Okay, posterior surface. Ang gagawin nyo lang is, i-wipe nyo lang siya ng cotton balls with alcohol and then ipipinch nyo lang po siya. If your patient is flabby, you can inject the syringe 90-degree angle. Kung thin naman yung pasyente mo, 45-degree angle. So for example, nalinisan na natin, inject the insulin, okay, at 90-degree angle, and then ang gagawin nyo lang po dyan, sorry. Okay, ang gagawin niyo lang po dyan is release the pinch. Okay, release the pinch. And then, after that, hawakan nyo lang po using your free hand. Okay, just to assist. And then, inject the medication. And then, wait for 5 seconds. Count 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pero sa isip nyo lang. Opo. And then, after that, remove the needle the same angle it went in. Kung binigay niyo po siya 90-degree angle, edi tanggalin niyo siya 90-degree. Huwag niyo nang ilalagay sa 45 degree, sa kanya siya tatanggalin. Opo. And then, discard the syringe. Okay? Syringes should be single use. Opo, hindi po natin siya rini-recycle. However, dito sa atin sa Philippines, nagsi-single use tayo ng hindi tayo nagsi-single use ng syringe. Okay? Hangga't sa hindi pa natitiko yung needle, ginagamit pa rin natin siya. Okay po? So after that, discard everything, yung mga kailangan i-discard. And then, hand hygiene ka na, and then document the site and dose and time of medication. Okay? So same with your pen device. Sa pen device, if you are using cloudy insulin, you just need to roll it 10 times. Okay? If it's cloudy, roll it 10 times. Okay po? Then after that, this is the top of the pen. Okay? Yung top of the pen, you just need to wipe it with cotton balls with alcohol. Wipe the top of the pen. After that, you need to put on the Novofine needle. This is the Novofine needle. Lalagay nyo lang siya dyan. This is the Novofine needle. Okay po. Tapos, para ma-assess natin that the needle is patent, okay po, you need to prime. Okay? You need to prime 2 units. So makikita ninyo, this is the dose knob. Ito, iniikot po yan. This is the units, kung ilan ang units. Okay po? Yung ano na yan, Greg, yung next procedure na yan sa pen device. Okay, anyway, so ang gagawin nyo lang is, you will just dial at least 2 units of insulin and then ipipress nyo lang siya. Pag makakita po kayo ng stream of insulin, okay, yan. Pag makakita kayo ng stream of insulin na lumabas sa needle, ibig sabihin the needle is patent. Okay? So after priming, we call it priming, you need to turn the dose knob once again kung ilan ang order ng doctor. Say for example, ang order ng doctor is 30 units. So iikot nyo lang siya. Okay? Iikot nyo lang siya. Okay? Ikot lang. Okay? Hanggang 30 units. Okay po. And then, same procedure. You need to assist your patient kung anong site or appropriate site of injection. And then, lilinisan nyo na naman siya. Okay? And then, you just need to pinch it, inject the medication. Okay? Pwede ring 45-degree angle. Yan. Tapos, release the pinch. Okay? Release the pinch. Okay, release the pinch. Yung free hand nyo, hold the pen device, and then inject the medication. Okay? After injecting the medication, wait for 5 seconds. Okay po? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remove the needle the same angle it went in. Okay? Kung 45-degree angle, di 45-degree angle. Then after that, you will discard the Novofine needle. Opo, tatanggalin nyo lang siya. Di-discard nyo lang siya sa sharps container. And then, ibabalik nyo lang po yung pen device sa fridge. Okay? And then, hand hygiene, document the dose, the administration site, the type of insulin. Okay po? Naintindihan ba? Do you have questions? Naintindihan po ba?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So, kung wala na kayong questions, that's it for insulin administration. Okay, wait lang. Stop ko lang tong recording. We will proceed now with Glasgow Coma Scale Assessment. Okay, so ang Glasgow Coma Scale Assessment is basically used to assess the level of consciousness of our patient. Okay? Specifically patients with brain injury, like traumatic brain injury, spinal cord injury, anything that pertains or problem that includes your brain. Okay po? So, kailangan natin gamitin ang Glasgow Coma Scale. Okay po? Glasgow Coma Scale Assessment. So, what is the best score or what's the highest score that we can give or the best score na pwede nating ibigay sa patient natin? What's the best score? Guys.
15, ma'am.
15. What's the worst score?
3.
3. Okay. So we have 3 parameters, right? We have 3 parameters. We have the first one. Ano yung first parameter natin? When we assess Glasgow Coma Scale?
Eye-opening.
Eye-opening. What's the second one? Si Rochelle. Hindi ko pa narinig ang boses ni Rochelle. What's the second one? Eye-opening. Second is?
Verbal response.
Verbal response. Third is?
Motor.
Motor response. Okay? So, Greg, kindly share yung entire screen, please. Thank you. Yung buong screen po, Greg. Next slide. Next slide po, Greg. Okay, so your Glasgow Coma Scale was developed at the University of Glasgow's Institute of Neurological Sciences, and it was introduced in 1974, aiming at standardizing assessment of level of consciousness sa mga patients with brain injury or head-injured patients. So it has been used mainly in evaluating prognosis. That's very, very, very important po ang Glasgow Coma Scale. Okay? And the main advantage of this scale is that it can be utilized by physicians, nurses, and other care providers due to its simplicity. Very simple lang naman talaga yun. Okay po? So, madali lang siyang intindihin at madali din siyang gamitin para i-assess yung patient. Okay? So, next slide please, Greg. Okay, so again, the best score is 15 and the worst score is 3. And we have 3 parameters. We have eye response, best verbal response, and best motor response. Okay, next slide. Okay, so dito tayo. So sa eye-opening, okay po, you give your patient a score of 4 if your patient has spontaneous eye-opening. Meaning, pagpasok mo sa room ng pasyente mo, yung pasyente mo nakikipag-eye contact sa'yo. Okay, nakita mo, nakabukas yung mata. Okay, that is spontaneous eye-opening. Okay? What if your patient doesn't have spontaneous eye-opening? Pagpasok mo sa room ng patient, naka-close yung mata niya, but you need to assess, ha? But you need to check if your patient is just sleeping. Huwag yung bibigyan ng score ng 1. Opo, kung natutulog lang naman pala yung pasyente. But if your patient doesn't have spontaneous eye opening, you need to elicit a verbal stimuli or a verbal response. Okay, how will you do that? Pagpasok mo sa room ng patient, good morning po, sir. Good morning po, Sir Ken. Okay, pag nag-open yung eyes ng patient mo sa verbal stimuli, okay po, you give your patient a score of 3. Pero nag-good morning ka na sa kanya, nagkumusta ka na sa kanya. Good morning, Sir Ken. Kumusta po ang araw mo? Okay, wala talaga siyang eye-opening. Okay, you need to elicit a painful stimuli. Okay po, how will you do that? Paano mo i-assess yung patient mo? You need to start with the least painful to the most painful. Greg, pwede pong pa next slide. Next pa. Okay, next. Sorry, Greg. Next. Next pa. Okay. So these are the different ways of assessing response to pain. Okay po. These are just the common ways. So again, you need to start with the least painful to the most painful. Ano yung least painful? This one. Least painful is this one. Okay po. So you need to apply pressure to one of the patient fingertips. Okay, or this a nail bed. Pwede kayong kumuha ng ball pen, ilagay po ninyo sa nail bed or sa fingertips and then apply pressure. That's the least painful. Opo. Kung walang eye-opening, pag nag-elicit kayo ng pain sa fingertips, do the other ways. Okay? Next slide, please, Greg. Okay. Do the trapezius squeeze. Okay, we call this trapezius squeeze. Opo. So, pag nag-trapezius squeeze kayo, okay, pag wala pang eye response, you can do the supraorbital notch. This one, supraorbital notch. Dito. Okay, press. Supraorbital notch. Kung wala pa talaga, you can perform what? Sternal rub. Saan anong sternal rub? Where's your knuckles? And then this is your sternum. And then just rub it. Okay, that's your sternal rub. Okay, that is the most painful. Okay, again, start with the least painful to the most painful. Okay? Kung wala pa talagang eye-opening yung patient mo sa pain, okay po, you give your patient a score of 1. Pero pag nag-open yung eyes ng patient mo sa eye-opening, ay sa pain, you give your patient a score of 2. Alright? If the patient cannot open their eyes for some reason, for example, yung pasyente mo merong periorbital edema, okay? Hindi nakaka-open yung eyes, hindi mo ma-assess kasi may edema, okay? It should not be assessed or not testable. O kaya may trauma, o kaya may dressing sa eyes na hindi mo ma-assess. Okay po, not testable. Okay, for example, may edema yung pasyente mo, tapos pagkausap mo sa pasyente mo, your patient is trying to open his or her eyes. Kahit po yan, konting pagbukas lang ng mata. Okay po, you need to give your patient a score. Opo, do not give 1. Okay po, kahit konti lang yan na open ng eyes, bigyan nyo pa rin ng score. When you assess the Glasgow Coma Scale, always give the best possible score for your patient. Opo, always give the best possible score because our aim sa patient natin is mataas yung score niya. Apo, again, always give the best possible score. Where's the iPad? Ay, there. Okay po. So, yun. Okay, the highest score is 4 pag may spontaneous eye opening. Pag 3, pag nag-open yung eyes sa verbal stimuli. Pag 2, pag nag-open yung eyes when you elicit a painful stimuli. Kung walang eye opening, 1. Apo, nakuha po ba? Nakuha po?
Yes po.
Okay. Okay, proceed na tayo sa verbal response. Next slide, please, Greg. Okay. Sa verbal response, the highest score is 5. Opo. You give your patient a score of 5 if your patient is oriented to person, place, and time. Opo, if your patient is oriented to person, place, and time. For example, you ask your patient, okay, si Jordan, sir, ano po ba yung kompleto mong pangalan?
Jordan B. Payos po.
Okay. Alam mo po ba, sir, kung anong araw po ngayon?
Today po is Wednesday.
Okay, Wednesday. Tama. Alam mo po ba, sir, kung nasaan ka po ngayon?
Yes po.
Nasaan ka
Nasa
po
bahay
ngayon?
po.
Sabihin mo, nasa hospital ka.
Nasa
Confused.
hospital.
Okay, nasa hospital. So if your patient is oriented sa person, place, and time, okay po, give your patient a score of 5. Okay, but what if yung pasyente mo, pagtanong mo, ma'am, sir, ano po bang kompleto mong pangalan? Tapos sinabi ng pasyente mo yung pangalan ng asawa niya. Okay, tapos tinanong mo kung anong araw ngayon, ibig sabihin niyang Wednesday, Sunday po ba? Okay, yung sagot niya, alam mo ba, sir, kung nasaan ka ngayon? So sabi niya sa mall. Okay po. So, your patient is trying to answer your question, but the answer is not right. The answer is incorrect. Okay? So your patient is confused. Okay? So kung confused ang pasyente mo, bigyan mo yung pasyente mo ng score of 4. Okay po. Ano paano naman yung 3? If your patient is just saying words inappropriately, okay? Inappropriate words. Meaning, pag tinanong mo yung patient mo, sir, ano po ba yung kompleto mong pangalan? Sabi ng pasyente mo, banana. Okay, alam mo po ba, sir, kung nasaan ka po ngayon? Apple? O kaya, sir, ano po bang, araw ngayon? Grapes. Okay? So, sinasagot naman niya yung mga questions mo, pero yung sagot niya is very inappropriate. Okay po? Walang connection sa question mo. Okay po? So, that's inappropriate words. You give your patient a score of 3. Okay? Pag incomprehensible sounds lang, okay, your patient is just mumbling. Okay? Or naririnig yung para nagmo-moan lang. Okay? Nag-moaning lang. Okay po? So, you give your patient a score of 2. Okay? Pag wala talaga siyang verbal response, you give your patient a score of 1. Unless otherwise, your patient is intubated. If the patient is intubated, oh my gosh, 10 minutes na lang naman. If the patient is intubated, it should be not testable. Kasi hindi mo naman ma-assess yung verbal response kasi nga intubated. Okay? Pero sa hospital, like sa BMC, ang nilalagay nila is 1. Okay? Hindi NT. But it should be not testable. Okay? Next, motor response. So the highest score that we can give sa motor response is 6. If your patient obeys command. For example, ma'am, pwede kong pakitaas ng right hand mo. So tinaas naman nung patient yung right hand. I remember when I was still working sa ER, yung doctor namin, inassess yung patient. He's not aware na yung patient merong left-sided body weakness. Sabi nung doctor, ma'am, pwede po ngayong pakitaas ng left arm mo. So since merong left-sided body weakness yung patient, hindi niya maitaas yung left side niya. So anong ginawa ni nanay? Since malakas yung right arm niya, kinuha niya yung left arm niya, tapos sa kanya, tinaas. Okay? So 6 pa rin yun. Okay? So you need to know kung saan yung weak side ng patient. Okay? So again, always give the best possible score. Kahit po yan, sinabihan nyo lang yung patient na, sir, pwede ngayong pakigalaw ng fingertips. Pag ginalaw niya yung fingertips niya, that's 6 pa rin. Because your patient obeys your command. Apa? So, next. Pag hindi nag-obey ng command, you need to elicit a painful stimuli once again. Okay? Again, start with the least painful to the most painful. Okay? For example, nag-perform ako ng capricious squeeze sa patient. Tapos, kinuha ng patient yung kamay ko, tapos tinanggal niya. So, ibig sabihin, the patient localizes pain. Meaning, alam ng pasyente kung saan nanggagaling yung pain. Kaya tinanggal niya yung kamay, kinuha niya yung kamay ko, tapos tinanggal niya. That is localizes pain. Pag 4 naman, that is withdraws to pain. For example, nag-capricious squeeze ako, and then winidraw niya lang. Guman lang yung pasyente natin. Okay po, that is withdraws to pain. Okay? Pag 3 naman, we call it abnormal flexion. Okay, ano yung posturing ng abnormal flexion? Decorticate posturing. Once you elicit a painful stimuli, ang nakikita natin sa pasyente, everything is externally or internally rotated. Dito sa center. Decorticate meaning, tandaan nyo core, center. Okay? Dito sa center. Decorticate posturing. Okay? That is 3. That is your abnormal flexion. Ano naman yung abnormal extension? That is 2. Okay? Anong tawag natin sa posturing na yon? We call it decerebrate posturing. Everything is externally rotated. The legs are extended. Okay? Ang ano tawag dyan? Hands is naka-rotate externally. Pati ang neck, hyper-extended ang neck. And then, pati yung toes, parang naka-tiptoe. Okay po? That is abnormal extension. We call it decerebrate posturing. Okay? Kung wala po talaga siyang response sa pain, okay, wala talaga siyang motor response, give your patient a score of 1. Okay? Next slide, please. If your patient is paralyzed, hindi mo naman ma-assess ang motor response. So, there's an exemption pa rin. And then, once you have assessed eye-opening, verbal response, and motor response, you need to add a score. Apo. And the Glasgow Coma Scale should be documented showing the score for each individual behavior. For example, E4, V5, and M6 equals 15. Apo, 15 lang po yan. Hindi yan 15 over 15. It should only be 15. Apo, next slide, please. Okay. GCS less than 8 or equal to 8 is consistent with severe brain injury. Apo, 9 to 12 is moderate brain injury, and GCS greater than 13 is consistent with minor injury. Apo, so usually po, ang mga neurosurgeon, they don't perform surgical procedures sa patients with GCS below 8. Usually po, they perform neurosurgery if the GCS is above 9. Apo, pag below 8, hindi na yan kasi yung prognosis is poor. Apo, poor ang prognosis niya. Very likely na makakasurvive ang patient. Okay po. So, any questions? Thank you very much, Greg. Thank you very much, Greg. Do you have questions? Do you have questions po? Guys, kindly turn on your camera, please. Paki-turn on ng cam. Ako lang ang naka-turn on ng cam. Madaya kayo. Okay? So, any questions? Wala naman po. Guys, magsalita kayo. I-unmute
naman.
nyo. Okay, wala naman. Okay, so next meeting will be your return demonstration. And then, with regards to your Glasgow Coma Scale, wala tayong return demonstration, but definitely I will give post-test as a class. As a class. Apo, ang post-test nyo, buong class na. Para isahan lang. Okay po. So, yeah, kung wala na kayong questions, thank you very much, everyone. I'm so sorry for the, mga technical problems. I'm not a computer savvy. I'm not a tech savvy, kaya that's why I'm asking for help. So, thank you very much. Greg, thank you for, sharing the slide. Okay, bye, guys. See you next week.
Bye, ma'am.
Okay, bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye-bye. See you later pala. At 1 p.m.
Ma'am,
Po.
pasend po ma'am ng recording.
Yeah. Sige, saan kayo send? Sa email? Email siguro.
Sa email po ata.
Okay, just send your email address sa Sa'yo na lang, Ken. Apo?
Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, bye. See you later.